Greetings and welcome back to the Sunday edition of the D2L Western Challenge. It's playoff time and we're more than halfway done. In fact, just a couple of days out for our grand finals coming up this Tuesday. And speaking of, one of these two teams will be advancing into one of those slots in the grand finals with a win. The other will be falling down to the lower bracket where they still have a chance to fight their way out. But as this tournament has played out, I don't think there's any question. These two teams have definitely, not just because of the obvious, not just because they're both in the upper bracket finals, just based on the eyeball test, watching them perform, these two teams have separated themselves from the rest of the pack and have looked phenomenally good, and they're going to be tested against each other now. Fnatic taking on Evil Geniuses, again, our upper bracket finals. Let's take a look at the lineup, see how they match up man for man, beginning with Fnatic. They snuck in 5th position out of our group stage, so they didn't even finish in the top half of our playoff qualifying teams. Had to play a first-round match, and they have shined with Excalibur standing in for Era. Era, of course, all of our love and well wishes to him as he is battling some health issues. Hope he's well soon. He is slated to be at TI4, but until then, we'll be missing pretty much every land, at least according to what we know. But again, Excalibur, the standout stand-in, has really made a name for himself, especially with his Meepo and Tinker play, but Meepo play through the roof, and something that I expect to see banned very frequently, if not in this series, at least looking ahead to most series, they'll be playing with him. And it really has been a season of standouts in general. Of course, you talk about Mason and so on, so always fun to see new blood, new faces thriving here in the Western scene of Dota. They're led by Fly on the hard support. Hani's, of course, in mid. Hani, he's listed as mid, but he has been shining from the support position in the last couple of days. Really anxious to see what they're going to end up doing with him. Era, as we mentioned, has Excalibur standing in for him. No Tail, of course, a fan favorite. He's on support, and in the off lane, they tend to have Trixie. Taking a look at the other side of the river, EG, one of our top 2 seeds, and one of the 2 teams to earn a bye into the bracket here in the playoffs. They have only had to play one best of 3, but they looked damn good doing it. They're led by PPD, who has really made a name for himself in the West since switching from Han to Dota, largely as a drafter, a real master of strategy. And I even tweeted out not long ago that he did something that I've never seen, and it was actually tweeted at me by my good friend Greg Laird, who is at the Summit. That PPD actually did this before as well, but he actually deferred the chance to opt for first picker's side because they did have seed advantage. EG does come in as our #1 rank overall, which means all the way up to the grand finals, they will have seed advantage, and whoever wins coming out of the upper bracket will have the seed advantage, or at least the pick advantage in the grand finals. But anyway, PPD, phenomenal on a lot of supports, really good at Tree, for example. Universe out in the off lane with another fan favorite in Arteezy, the standout youngster, truly one of the brightest rising stars in all of Dota today. Zai, who is another youngster who has made a hell of a name for himself on support. And of course, Mason taking over for Fear, who has been injured and has been out of commission for a while. He has just really risen to prominence and is as much a member of this team as anyone. Despite still, I can't even say technically being a stand-in. He is an official member now, but has been for quite some time. Well, for the cast, it's going to be me and Trout. I'm AC. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show so far. We really are getting down the nitty-gritty. Again, it's Sunday. We have one more day of regular play coming up tomorrow to get through the bracket. And then Tuesday, kicking off at 9 a.m., will be our best of 5 grand finals, which will feature one of these 2 teams. Fnatic and EG, man. Everyone has known Fnatic's good. They have been a little up and down here and there. But really, they have looked so good with the addition of Excalibur. What do you expect to see out of this series?
I don't want to give any spoilers, but I'm so excited about the draft already. But
which means one thing.
We're going to have to go in. Yeah, one thing. So there might be some Meepo. Who knows? I'm just throwing it out there.
Maybe.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see this match in particular. Fnatic is on an uphill slope right now, it seems, in terms of morale and just the numbers that they're winning games in convincing fashion. EG's just been strong as ever. They had a very disappointing run at DreamHack, and if anything, that's kind of firing them up just a little bit to play and prove to themselves that they are a top team in the world. So should be a very fun matchup.
Well, we're going to move on into the draft now. Again, we are live from the HyperX HQ here in Fountain Valley. Why does Valley always want to escape me? It's Fountain Valley, California, and this awesome land facility they've built in to work directly with pro gamers. Again, thanks to HyperX, the lead sponsor for the D2L Western Challenge. And looky there. We got Fnatic landing their Meepo, and no ban on it. EG opting to ban instead the Beastmaster and the IO. And I particularly find the Beastmaster ban letting through both Tinker and Meepo for Fnatic. Break that down for me, because honestly, I don't know.
I mean, No Tail's been playing it a lot as a support, I believe. We saw it last time. By the way, it's now Fnatic got Big Daddy, as I believe he wants to be officially called.
He will be No Tail.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've known him for so long, too, from Han. Like, I know this squad quite well for years, so it'll be hard to shake that. Although Big Daddy No Tail does have a ring to it for me anyway.
Exactly.
But yeah, so banning out the Beastmaster, I don't know. Maybe they feel that Meepo's not the problem, or Tinker's not the problem, but in this draft, it's the ability to go to the Hawk is the problem. Or in this case, if you have Meepo plus Beastmaster, it's the amazing aura onto all of the Meepos.
Yeah, I guess
maybe that's what they're onto. I don't know, but it's still a little peculiar to me. Skywrath Mage. What was the wording that Conrad said that you had that was just so perfect when it was the quietest 18 kills in a Skywrath we've ever seen?
It was.
That one game, but he went 18-4 and 18 on Skywrath, and you just kind of forgot about him, but those were the stats.
He was 18, like 18-4 and 18. It wasn't like, oh, he took all the kills. He just happened to be KSing. He was involved in 36 of like 40-some kills in that game or something ridiculous. But yeah, that's how it was. Like, you looked at it, it was Fly who was playing it, and you knew he was having a good game, but it just didn't register just how good of a game it was. And you get to the end score screen, it's like, holy crap.
I think it's because he would go like on a streak, and then it would be ended. Then he'd go on a streak again and be ended.
Yeah.
So he never really hit that godlike pinnacle. I could be wrong, but that's... Yeah, anyway, the point is he had an amazing game on Skywrath. Actually, 2 games in a row. They picked it twice yesterday, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
And so, very, very popular hero for them as of late. Lots of, like, big core carry heroes here for EG. They got Brewmaster, second pick Faceless Void. I can talk about that in a little bit. I really love Faceless Void just in general. I think he's underpicked. Marana, very popular hero right now. And then an OD. So lots of, like, carry, and that begs the question. This has to be the support Marana, right? Like,
I don't know.
There's no other support. I know that PPD hates it. He has said publicly that it's shit.
Yes, exactly.
And even Allison, Arteezy has said specifically it's shit. So it's funny because I've heard them say that before about a lot of different heroes.
This could be a tiny pick incoming, by the way. Just want to throw that out there if it's not banned.
They are on Dire, and maybe they try it again. It would be really fun to see them actually try that on Dire.
But what I'm thinking is, like, you see the Skywrath. Skywrath sets up really well off of Earthbind, really well off of Centaur Stomp. And we saw yesterday in their last day of action.
This is very similar, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's
I got to look this up.
Yeah, no, it's very close. And I'm pretty sure you can do it from Dire, by the way. Like, I did a little research. Didn't have a whole lot of time yesterday. But I did a little bit of research, and apparently it's something that's old and been around a while. And it was the first time I had seen it. Tiny using Toss and tossing a neutral creep to pull mid-lane creeps. Yep. And apparently it can be done on both sides.
4 out of the 5 heroes are this exact same as their last game.
Yeah, this is
so
what
you're
I'm
right.
thinking. Like you said, they are on Dire instead of Radiant, so that's that. But back to EG for a minute. I have seen Universe run an off-lane Faceless Void. I have seen it done before, and done successfully, might I add. So that's an option. Like you said, PPD has been very clear that he does not like support Marana. He said so publicly and privately. Mason, of course, that is one of his marquee heroes, the Marana. OD, the Old Dirty, is a marquee hero for Arteezy. So it is a whole lot of all over the place, really, for it. And I'm just excited, man. I just want to see what both of these teams are going to show us, because EG's last pick here should give us maybe a little bit of a better idea of what complexion the laning phase is going to take. And Fnatic, yeah, there is no ban on the Tiny. I'm thinking it's going to be Tiny.
Really? I don't know. I feel like it would actually be kind of hilarious if they did, because it would be the exact same lineup. The one kind of pitfall you have if you do that is, like, you become predictable, obviously. Same exact lineup.
Right.
We're wondering, maybe they're going to do the same thing. If that's the case, you might want to think about changing lanes up just a tad bit, or at least being ready and having the presence of mind to shift things around if you need to, based off of what the lanes are. AA is the last pickup here for Evil Geniuses. A pretty damn good hero against Meepo. It's not the end-all, be-all, but it definitely is a decent tool against him.
Oh, yeah. The Ice Blast, quite nice. And decent in lane, too. And it depends on how they want to play this out. I don't know. Like, it's so hard to call, because you have 2 heroes in the Brew and the OD who usually demand a solo lane, be it solo safe or solo mid. But Faceless Void, like, what are they going to do? Run aggressive? Or are they going to put the Old Dirty mid, and they're going to run Brewmaster on the off lane? I don't know.
I think it's still going to be off lane Void and just tri lane, safe lane with Marana and AA. But yeah, it is kind of curious. I'm actually not the biggest fan of AA this game. It's okay. It's good with Faceless Void. Yeah, just be a Lich. I didn't think that they could actually really get away with the Tiny here, but Lich is actually a very. I would like to see in some stats on Lich against Evil Geniuses in particular. I feel like Lich is one of those heroes, especially when you pick him last. it's a hero that screws up lanes and it screws up plans. It really does.
Right.
And because it changes the complete way that you have to think and lane things out. Because dual lanes in mid, like for instance, if you decide to dual lane in mid, it becomes that much more difficult to actually play mid. You know, it just changes the dynamic of the early game tremendously. So
we'll be Universe on the Faceless Void. So called that one correctly, and now it's just a matter of how they decide to lane this out. PPD, no surprise to see him on the AA. It's going to be Mason who's farming, and we actually saw Mason in their first series in Western Challenge play on the Brew. He didn't have the best game, but it really didn't matter as EG was able, obviously, to prevail in that series. And they're going to have Zai. Yep, it's going to be a support Mirana, so PPD maybe reversing his opinion on the Mirana in this particular case and running it as a 4.
To give him credit, when we first started like playing in Dota 2, he actually did like it. So he's changed his mind. He's got a little wishy-washy because I know that he did like it when he first started playing Dota 2. Maybe he's trying it out. They have been scrimming a lot lately, so there's nothing wrong with trying out things. And even if you thought they were bad before, just try them out again. Maybe things have changed, and maybe your opinions can change. I think that's really important. Don't get set on a certain thing like this is bad, this is bad. Things change. Heroes get nerfed. Heroes get buffed, and yeah, the metagame changes. So they're trying that out. It's going to be a safe lane tri-lane as expected here for EG. And it actually is going to be Hani on the Doom. Might throw them off as far as where they're going to lane it for Fnatic. And that's, again, a very big strength that people don't talk about enough. The fact that they can play different types of roles and heroes on Fnatic.
Oh, yeah.
More so than other teams. And this does actually create a little bit of mind game here. Because you're thinking, okay, Hani is on the Doom. Maybe he goes mid. Like, that's usually his role, right? And then Trixie's on the Centaur. Maybe they go dual lane bottom with Trixie. Well, nope, it's going to be Trixie top with the dual lane with Big Daddy with the boots first on the Skywrath. So, yeah, I think things like that are very, very beneficial to a team.
I feel like since the addition of Excalibur, the scouting report has to be that he's really the de facto mid, at least for now. That's where you see him, at least on... I mean, his two most popular heroes, he really wants mid on in the Meepo and the Tinker. And even whenever he ran, we saw him running with the Tiny, and he ran that mid as well. So, Mason... going to be on the Brewmaster, and like we said, last time we saw it, it wasn't that he was terrible. It was up and down kind of a game. But in the end, it ended up not mattering in the grand scheme of things. They're not going to be running Fly on the Skywrath this time, by the way. That's worth noting. It will be No-Tail, Big Daddy No-Tail, if he insists on the Skywrath mages. Fly will be handling this Lich, and he's going to be making his way to bottom to start. But yeah, Hani has just been really kind of flipping around. He's been playing some offlane, some safe lane. He's been playing the support, and it's worked out well. We're going to have a very early gank attempt out of EG as Zai and PPD are under cover of smoke. It looks like they want to take a run at top. They get a ward down as they pass through, and let's see if they can find someone napping. Zai will put a skill. Yep, there's Sacred Arrow. Here's No-Tail, PPD. Chilling Touch is skilled, and Universe is going to go right for it. There's the slow. Arrow should be on the mark, and is. And it'll be Big Daddy No-Tail who takes a spill for first blood. EG off to an early lead in this offlane, taking shape quite nicely.
This is what EG is just known for. This is what guts them the early lead every single game. I see them do this all the time. Always aggressive smokes on the supports when you think it's supposed to be a defensive tri-lane, and then just catch the other team off guard. This is just complete signature EG. So well done by them. Lots of damage as you saw coming out. With the Chilling Touch onto all of those heroes. Easy shot arrow. And this is basically turned into aggressive tri-lane now, and they can easily get away with it because... And actually, this is, I think, one of the best solutions to Lich, is you go aggressive tri-lane, because Lich, it just doesn't work too well in defensive tri-lanes. Doesn't really offer that much. But so it's actually a smart decision here by, posting 3 heroes up top.
Mason's taking a lot of damage here. He the body block a little bit off. Hani took the stomp, and they're going to get him, I think. Yeah, he's still slowed. They're going to be able to track him down. He was playing ultra aggressive up under the tower. Hani had disappeared into the jungle to take a creep, and he happened to take the Centaur stomp. So after the Frost Blast, he was there to stomp out, and the slow, of course, still very active. And they get on the board as well. So 2 kills in 2 minutes. We're tied up 1-1.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but that's really unfortunate. Trixie taking a ton of auto attack damage from Zai as he was trying to keep the creeps away from the tower so he could have proper positioning. Does succeed in doing so, but took a lot of damage in the process. Zai, in the meantime, level 2. Universe, he's level 2 as well. Has a lot of tangos, and he's basically getting free farm as he's playing the 1 sword of this game.
Yep. And this is actually, I think, a deceptively deadly lane with Mirana Arrow. I mean, when you think about setups from Mirana, you think of Frostbite, you think of Disruption, you think of, those guaranteed magic missile, anything that's a guaranteed single target, either stun or at least something that'll keep them in place long enough for a setup. But there's enough slow between the Ancient Apparition and the Void even, because you forget the Time Walk does have a slow effect that is applied as well. You think of it as just a get in, get out kind of a skill. But in the laning phase, that actually does matter. So they're going to have that along with, nice arrow from the high ground on Excalibur in mid. They're going to leap ahead, and Excalibur drops as well. That's actually a big kill for them. Killing him off early in mid, especially when he has the help of No Tail on the Skywrath Mage, that is just going to go so far in allowing them to delay his development and hopefully get ahead.
A nicely timed arrow from the Astral. Another nice combination of arrows that we see with certain heroes, and it was very, very effective. So yeah, shutting down Meepo, this is one of the few games we've actually seen it happen. Like, you want to do this every single time. Yep. Oh, action up top is Trixie's in a lot of trouble.
Yep, there's the slow effects. The Vortex was before that fight broke out in mid, that's what I was going to. You have Time Walk, you have Vortex, you have so many slow effects, and even without the Mirana there, it doesn't matter. The damage from Universe with that 1 point into Time Lock is really showing itself to be just so hard to cope with. And EG's off to a rolling start, 3-1. Fnatic gonna have to hope they can make it up somewhere soon, but they do have the Meepo to fall back on. And Excalibur, just because he dies once, isn't the biggest deal. If they have to keep the pressure up on him, it is not we killed mid, he's going to be behind. Let's go focus on something else. You have to make him your priority pretty much for the entirety of the early game and on into the mid game.
The scary thing is, though, is they have really good heroes against Meepo. Like Chronosphere is very good. The thing about catching one Meepo, if you Chronosphere, it's not like you can poof others in to help out, because they're just going to get instantly stopped by the Chronosphere.
Right.
So it's a very good tool, not to mention that on top of Odie's giant ult. If Odie gets a really good start, his ult is going to do way too much damage for the Meepos to handle. So I think a lot of this game is going to come down to Excalibur. He's spamming out mid right now. This is what he does. He has to. He gets all those creeps and just go to the jungle.
Yep.
And he's going to have to primarily just farm, I think, for the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, and then come back when he's able to fight into these ults.
And we can see they've gotten Universe in a sufficiently good position. He's got up his treads already. They're just going to leave him isolated one-on-one, at least for the moment, as they know No Tail's either going to be in mid, or at the most, he was back in the jungle. And now they're beginning to roam around a bit, giving Universe solo experience. And I've seen them do this before with Universe, even starting out by himself out in that off lane and have success. Now PPD has a chance at Excalibur again. There's the OD ulti. Dropping the hammer uphill, and let's see. Do they have an arrow? No, don't have the mana for it. The right clicks are more than enough, though, as PPD deploying the Chilling Touch is enough to get them another couple of big kills, and they're continuing to do a great job of holding down Excalibur. And this is the mistake I feel like a lot of teams make against Fnatic. They just go, okay, it's tough to do. They're running a duo lane. Let's just try to win our other lanes, and if you don't win super hard, Excalibur's at 1,000 miles ahead. Instead, they're winning mid first and just letting everything else fall in line everywhere else.
Yeah, the roaming from the supports is really what's winning EG. Like, they got a first blood top. They roamed mid with the Astral plus Arrow. PPD's came in with he does so much damage when he has a DD rune too, and that's what he had. And he also is going for the Ice Vortex, which I think is the better choice. It's going to slow down the Meepos, close that gap, provides extra damage, increased magic damage, which is actually quite a lot too. It's 20% right now. And yeah, with that DD, like I said, it just does so much damage to him. So Excalibur, I feel like he just doesn't go mid anymore. He just needs to get out of there. But again, once we get level 6 up in the Universe, which he's very, very close to, it's going to be difficult for him to evade these ganks.
Well, the problem, I think, is Universe in this aggressive situation hasn't just done a great job of staying alive and netting kills. He's number 1 in CS, or at least he was. He just fell behind Arteezy, who is on very nice pace to picking up his Midas. Already has brown boots, plus his Null Talisman. But again, Fnatic is not a team that is a stranger to this kind of situation. We have seen them start out a little slow before, especially with Excalibur on Meepo, and just begin to build little bits of momentum back, and before you know it, they've gone crazy. Now, getting Mason again would be a nice step. There's a Stampede deployed.
He's got stun.
Yep, there's that Centaur stun, and the War Stomp, and Drunken Brawler helping out a bit, uses the wand charges, and they do get him with one last auto attack. Hani's very low, though. Here's the reaction. Universe going to go right for it and gets a return kill, and that is not worth it at all for Fnatic. And he's going to Chronosphere, going to work on Fly. Arrow, just barely missed. They still should get him, and got a very timely time lock to make sure he wasn't going to scurry away. 7-2. EG is running away with this early laning phase. 1,500 gold without a single tower down is their advantage right now.
Amazing tread swapping, too, by Universe. He went in, got the kill on the Doom. He just hit 6 off of that. Only had 120 mana or something like that. Switched to treads on Int very, very quickly. leveled up his ult, casted it quickly, went back to Agitrez just for full damage. So I know this is all stuff like, well, duh, this is what pros are supposed to do, but sometimes they don't. Actually, oftentimes they don't. Just doing that as quickly as he did actually does make a difference. As Mason gets a kill onto Big Daddy, Allison or TZ could be in some trouble. Chain Frost bouncing around.
Oh, that's really quite smart. Can Fly find him? Oh, there's the Astral, and Arteezy knowing if he was spotted at all, he had to come out. He was just out of range because it's night for Fly to see him, so Fly could not auto-attack him. Or he may have even been able to see him, but the auto-attack range might have been just a little too far. So he had to come out to move back into lane, though, and using the Astral to buy just enough time. Well played by him. And, yeah, I mean, what else can you say? I mean, the items are coming out for Fnatic slowly but surely. Hani's picked up that Midas, so he's going to be a farming a heavy farmer in terms of overall GPM as that and Devour begin to pile up. But I just feel like EG's got so much done so far, and even Mason coming in to take the last hit on that kill on No-Tail in mid, just getting him a little bit back on track.
Yeah, exactly. And he's probably just going to go for a complete straight blink because he's basically been playing the off lane in a sense this game.
Yeah.
Close to level 6, that's good for him. I just feel like all things considered, like, okay, Arteezy's farming very well, as he usually does, and he had a nice matchup, had a lot of help, as he gets a lot of help from mid. I will say he's a fantastic player, but these supports really helped him out. I just don't think Void is going to be countered this game. I don't know how you counter Void. I mean, I guess Doom can do that, and Skywrath is quite good too, but Skywrath is very underleveled. He's a 0-3-0.
Right.
Doom's going to have to get a blink, I feel, to really keep Fnatic in this game and create some space for Meepo. But I just think Void is just he's such a good hero, man. He's really, really good. I really would like to see teams pick him up more because I never see a bad situation for him.
Yep. Well, you and I were talking, like the first day we met, actually, we were talking about heroes and just chopping it up, Dota stuff. And you were telling me that in high-level pubs, and like high-level being like 6,500, 6,000, 6,500, something like that, MMR-ish, the one hero that's dreaded when people pick it is actually the Void.
Yeah, everyone gets mad when people pick Void. Oh my god, he picked Void. It's not even like, if you pick Anti-Mage, like, whatever. It's Void or Doom. Or if you're on the same team as a Jungle Doom, it's like, oh my god, he picked Jungle Doom. Worst shit ever, but yeah. Yeah, Void is a pretty scary one. It's up there.
Well, Universe having success with it so far. There's the Midas up on Arteezy now. And again, not a single tower is dropped. Under attack. And EG still yet able to largely feel as if they're in control of the map. Zion PPD just doing what they do and roaming so well. And coming back around to Skywrath, like you said, he's underleveled. He's level 4.5. It's not the end of the world. He's not like level 3 or something at 10 minutes in. But still, this is the liability of a support Skywrath. He is very level dependent, and where Fnatic had success running this before was largely with a roaming support. Be it that roaming support Tiny, be it the, I can't even remember if Skywrath was in that match. I want to say he was, but I could be wrong. But definitely with Hani, who was on the Earthshaker. And they made so much happen together.
He's in so much trouble right now. He didn't see this. They were trying to gank, but he stayed around so long. There's an ult. There's an AA also on top of that. I don't know. That was a really far shot one, but it doesn't matter. Such an easy kill and a very nice warding. That's the only reason why they were able to do that. They saw Doom come around and stay on the side. This is a very interesting spot for this ward at this time in the game. Defensively from EG. They saw him, Mason pinged him out. He backed up appropriately. I feel like when he backed up, that should have been key. Like, how's he see me? Like, they clearly have a ward. The people from mid all went away. I would say that's a bit of a misplay by Hani. So he should have read that situation, I think, a little bit better. But nonetheless, good capitalization from EG. And they don't have an ult from Universe right now. Arrow hits Big Daddy. Look at his life pool. Takes out more than half with just the arrow. 1 auto attack, 2 auto attack, 3. Universe is unstoppable at the 10-minute mark.
Yep, he's already got up his Morbid Mask. Nope, check that. He's got up a Mask of Madness. Wow, there's a one-target Chain Frost, and PPD able to make it outside of vision from the tower. Sentry goes down, but Mason's right there. Mason does have split if he needs it, and Fly getting a little too greedy. Eyes bigger than his stomach as EG punishes him for coming out and wanting to chase the kill, and he even invested a Sentry, so that's an extra 100 gold he lost there.
Trixie might come in here and feed. I don't. Okay, they gotta get people down there now. All right.
No. Zai could be in trouble. No-Tail Doom. Nope. They managed to go 1 for 1 at the very least. Hani came in, was trying to get there in time to help, but a little tardy to the party. So they end up going 2 for 2. And actually, that's not the end of the world. They managed to get OD and the Mirana. So, and that's in exchange for a Lich and a Skywrath. So the tower, of course, going down, not the biggest deal, but Fnatic, at least in terms of hero exchange, able to come out ahead.
Yeah, and Meepo is recovering nicely. This is exactly what I said he needed to do. Just leave the lane, just go mass farm the jungle. He's a top level in the game. He's level 11, 0-2-1. top CS, so it's not doing too bad there. I think he's stacking a lot for himself too, because I've been seeing the supports running around.
Yeah.
Either way, there is some stacking being done, and that's what you have to do to just really increase your farm safely. Skywrath, when he hits 6, things could change. Okay, good, perfect. I love this from Hani. I feel like he really needed to blink.
Yep, I totally agree with you.
And I really agree with that decision.
Especially with, well, I don't know. Trixie's going to have his up, too. So there's going to be 2 Blink Daggers on 2 decent
Blink on
initiators.
Panda as well.
Yep. And that's kind of, oh, wow. Yep, they managed to get another kill here in mid. And EG is just steamrolling right now. And they're going to probably get another tower. Frost Armor or not. I mean, that Frost Armor on the tower actually is a bit of a pain, especially for Universe. But the
Yeah,
tower's
it is kind of annoying, actually. It was a good change for Lich.
Yeah, it really was. It just gives him a little more utility. Instead,
Yeah.
you know, just makes him a little more useful in a very subtle way. But I have seen it make differences. I've seen racks remain standing without a doubt because of the Frost Armor on them.
Yeah, just even the slow attack speed that you get. And
Yep.
all that jazz. But here we go, 3-man smoke. There is also an ult from Zai up in 7 seconds now. They might want to utilize that. But Meepo backs away. I think he bought Blink before Ags. Where's the real one, actually? Is it mid? No. Okay, he's going for Ags. Never mind.
Yep, he's got Scepter halfway
I was going
done.
to say, because he usually goes for Ags.
Yep, he's got a 3/4 of the way done. So, and that's what we were talking about. Excalibur just so good that they killed him a couple of times. It's not enough. They're going to have to keep the pressure up. That or just they feel confident enough that they can just 100% outfight him when it comes to a 5-man fight. And I would not bank on that. The guy is just so good at the hero.
He is, but again, there's just so many great tools against him. Like, I mean, like I said over and over, but the Void ult is so good. The OD ult is very, very good as well. And these are massive AoE things, especially the Void. Just like I said, you can't do anything about it. Like, you can't poof in and help yourself.
Mason blown to pieces there in mid. Trixie showing off the Blink Dagger, got the stomp, and the Mystic Flare was there from No Tail. And that is much more along the lines of what we've seen Fnatic do with this Skywrath Mage pick. Well played.
Yep, I didn't see it, but I imagine the good thing about Skywrath is that the Ancient Seal, the Silence, is instant, and it's got a very long range. So I imagine maybe you caught the beginning of it. That's what they started it off with, the Centaur Blink Stomp or something like that. So he's got some arcane boosts, making a nice recovery. No Tail is. He had a bad start, but he's making the best of it.
Things settling down for the moment at least. Only 1 tower down on either side. That was the bottom lane tower for Fnatic. And they're actually keeping this close. So even though it has felt very dominant, oh, here we go. If they get Excalibur here, this will be a big deal. He actually took, that's actually hilarious. He actually cleared the creep out, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Killed the creep before he killed the Meepo, I think. But at any rate.
Double damage Universe with the ulti and the, he's got Maelstrom actually in like 300 gold.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's really going to be the Universe show this game. Usually it's Arteezy, and he's still doing fine in it, as he should. But
engagement in the jungle, Zai spotted, will be cleaned up. There's a Doom onto Arteezy, so he's going to be forced back. There we go. Big Daddy, No Tail, caught out as Mason used the split, and now they're just chasing them away. They have to scatter. They managed to get yet another one. They did catch Zai, but Arteezy able to make it away despite the Doom. Hani up to the north, and we see Mason rejoin following the conclusion of the split. So Fnatic, they're beginning to show some cracks. Is it enough to put all of your eggs in the Excalibur basket, or is there something else you really need to be trying to accomplish in the next 15 minutes of this game?
I think you can. I mean, I've talked so much about how the ults are good, but this is why Blink on Doom is so important, because as long as he's able to blink on Doom, I think he needs to just Doom Void every single time. I think before he casts Chrono. I think it's so important. If they do that, I think Excalibur can go ham and still weather the ult of the OD, because the ult from OD is not going to be doing too much right now. He doesn't have enough int, really. Unless he uses Astral multiple times during a fight. But he can't do that because his health is just so low, and he can't hang around a fight that long. So until he gets more items up on OD, I say Doom the Void, and Excalibur maybe can take this in the late game and just punish him that way. That last fight was a huge win for Fnatic. It was just a 1-for-1 exchange. They got the kill first from the Skywrath, and they also popped the Panda ulti, and didn't really get much out of it. So,
well, since it's gotten quiet, we'll take a look at how the items are shaping up. We'll be PPD buying the mech. He's already got up the buckler as well as his Magic Wand recipe, so that'll be done. Slowly making progress on that front. Not a whole lot out of Mason, just treads and a blink. And like you said, he was ostensibly the off-lane hero, just the way the lanes ended up working out. Universe is quite far ahead. Maelstrom already done with the Mask of Madness to go with it, so his combat utility through the roof. Zai's picked up a Staff of Wizardry. We'll see what he's going to want with that. And Artesia, hold that thought. There's going to be a Stampede and a Doom on the Universe in mid. This would be a big kill if they can get it. A ulti, shot, Sentry goes down, and Universe is dead skis. There's going to be a Mystic Flare, too. PPD eats a lot of that, but Mason's right there. He doesn't have Split, however, has to blink away. They're trying to kite Trixie out and doing a fairly good job of it. There's a dub, stomping a double edge, and PPD just kind of fed that one.
Yeah.
Not really sure what was going on in that instance. Trixie is able to blink into the trees and make it away, so big 2-0 exchange for Fnatic, and that's the way they can keep it. So long as they can keep things even while Excalibur continues to get huge, they're going to be fine looking ahead to the mid game. And yeah, that's a nice step in that direction.
That was definitely a misstep there by Peter. He tried to get really greedy. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna outplay you with auto attacks. When you turn around, I'm gonna turn back around the instant you do it. And he just there was no reason to do that. He could have just let Mason get the kill for free. And he didn't even get the kill on Centaur because of that. So. Well, I don't know if it's just because of that, but yeah, Ags up onto Meepo. It was just a really nice, instinctive play there from Hani. And first of all, nice blink out from the start from Trixie, right when Void came in. I thought he was actually going to whiff the ult, but Universe is just too damn good. But nonetheless, as soon as he went in, Trixie blinked out, and then Doom blinked in, doomed him, and then used the ult immediately from Centaur. Just nicely played from Fnatic, and also No-Tail, recognizing that he could get another kill, silencing out someone else when they had the Doom up onto the Void. So yeah, that's exactly what you have to do. And then here, dire advantage coming up with the Meepo with the Ags. This is Fnatic's game. They're coming back into this, actually. And as far as experience goes, after this Roche, it's going to be something like 7,500.
Oh, yeah. That is a solo Roshan pickup for Excalibur.
He's level 15, and he had such a bad start, too.
Hani spotted and Cronin immediately. There's going to be the Ice Blast, but he's got help coming. Not going to get there in time to save him. Might be there in time to maybe turn it around and get something back. Trixie uses Stampede. No Chrono at his disposal. Universe has to time walk away, and they're actually selling out to try and catch him. Doom buys back. Excalibur throws the Earthbind, misses by just a smidge. Universe continuing to run, and he will be caught this time. Stop the follow. He's got time walk, not going to matter. Chain stun too effectively. At top, Zai is trying to push down the tier 1. They end up trading Hani for the Void. Hani did buy back in that instance, but still, nice kill for them. And like you said, saying they're finding back is not even close to true. It's actually dead even. And they have held this game very close. The experience, like you said, though, is the biggest margin existing in the metrics for the moment, and that's in the favor of Fnatic.
That was a pretty big blunder by Trixie. He stomped and then blinked. He messed it up. But it just made it so it took a lot more time. And I think that because of that, Hani had to buy back. He really wanted to secure that kill on Void. So I think if he just gets the stomp without messing it up, Hani didn't have to buy back. Actually, I don't even know if he needed to buy back right there, but he really wanted to secure that kill on the Void. Because, like I said, Void is the most important hero for EG right now. I don't think OD is going to come online fast enough, even with Artesia and just how he knows how to farm so well. I just think Meepo is just farming so much faster than him, obviously.
I agree with you. And this is always the question with an OD, especially, I mean, it's not as if Artesia's done anything wrong, but it feels like the only time that an OD just kind of goes ham is whenever he just happens to be involved in 3 or 4 kills early. And right now, I mean, I guess technically he's been involved in 3, but more to the point, getting those kills. And actually, there's a Doom onto Universe. Good catch. Trixie's there. Stampede used. Arrow's going to land. And the Ice Blast to follow. Mason wants some payback. They should be able to get Trixie. And Hani's actually slowed as well. He's actually going to be tossed up using the Storm aspects. They're going to try to chase him down. But Excalibur coming in with all those meepos, they got to be very careful. And yeah, they're now on the run.
He can just hold it there. Yeah, exactly. This is what he's doing. He's just holding the Earth Spirit, the Earth one down. He doesn't want to kill it. He's not in a bad position.
Oh,
perfect.
Well timed on the Mystic Flare. And Mason locked down, cleaned up. 3 for 1 the exchange. And a game that looked like EG was ready to run away with in the first 20 has now reversed course completely. Tier 1 brought down off of that as well. The Midas is kicking in for Hani. He's got 2,000 gold on top of Plate Mail, Midas, Blink Dagger. He is going to be going for either a Shiva's or an Assault Cuirass. And Artesia is doing what Artesia can right now, which is just farming. He needs a Hex, but he needs to get involved so soon. Otherwise, Fnatic's just going to start to steamroll them.
Yeah, I didn't have the net worth chart up for a long time. I didn't realize that Artesia was actually ahead of the Meepo, so he is farming better. And I didn't know that, so I have to give credit to Artesia. But it just doesn't seem like he is because he's losing out on a ton of levels.
His impact just isn't there.
Yeah, it's not there. He doesn't have enough int to just run in there and be like, big OD ult, and just own the Meepos that way. Because Meepos just got too much HP at this point. His levels are very, very high, so he's getting more strength gain. Even with the sheep stick, I feel like he's just too susceptible to death. Like, he could also just easily get doomed himself. I still feel like the decision to doom Void every single time is the right one. They need.
I agree.
Void is way too important.
Tier 1 bottom, shipped away by Excalibur. There will be no reaction. They do have a glyph, but yeah. Not going to use it to try to save that piddling little thing. Instead, maybe thinking of trying to push elsewhere. The top tier 1 still remains standing, by the way, even though Zai was split pushing it a bit. And EG needs a win here. What do you think needs to be the game plan? I mean, Arteezy's very close to his scepter, like very close. We'll have it in mere minutes, if even that. Once that's up, is it just 5-man time, or is there a specific way you think you need to go about trying to attack Fnatic at this stage of the game? Hang on, Doom on the Zai, and trying to chase him down. He's got more help on the way coming from the south. Zai,
he's dead.
Yeah, is dead.
No question about it. You also have a crit creep onto Hani, so he's hitting quite well himself.
Hang on. Void with the ult in mid. Fly brought down with it, and they got off the Ice Blast onto Excalibur. They pop only the Aegis, though. And Arteezy is right there. Yep, and he should be dropping the ult moment. There it is.
Okay, it does a lot of damage now with the completed sheep stick. It didn't before, but that extra intelligence, plus 35 intelligence for him, and he's almost level 16, so now he's starting to come online. Now he's starting to become a big threat to this Meepo.
Yep. And that's kind of the reality. Is for the last few minutes, it's mostly been EG 4 versus 5ing for all intents and purposes. And like you said, not to take anything away from Fnatic, they have been really dealing with the Universe very effectively. But we got a taste right there of what happens if they're lacking the Doom, if the Doom's used elsewhere, or if they're not on point and who they Doom.
And I don't think that's Hani's fault for not being there.
No,
they just need to communicate, I use Doom. They should have seen a Dooming top and just backed off away.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they need to play around this Doom. I definitely agree.
It's 19-14 at 24 minutes in. After that brief exchange, still heavily going in Fnatic's favor. But the combat potential of EG now going to be tested. They got to hope it's enough, because at this stage of the game, as well as Excalibur is playing, and he's 2-4-2, so he hasn't been phenomenal in that regard. And Arteezy is more farmed, but just the nature of the hero, the poof damage alone becomes such a liability. And we know how good he is at this stage of the game in particular. So they're going to have to hope it's enough. And the mech comes out maybe a little late-ish, but for the most part, out in plenty of time for EG to get good usage out of it.
Yeah, I think it's really important, too, that Meepo goes straight for a Hex, as he normally does anyway, because it's just going to increase his int, and it'll help him against that OD ult as well. He will have that in, it's actually not too close, but they're scouting out Roshan. Again, it's so hard for me to tell. What is that, like 2 minutes or something, I think?
Well, he had the Aegis popped. I'm not sure if that's reclaim time or spawn time. That's what got me last time.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, they're probably going to wait for that. He has a DD up in his bottle for Meepo. And yeah, kind of a stagnant game right now. Your possible 4-man ult here coming out from Zai. Yep. Pops the Moonlight Shadow, maybe looking for a kill. Excalibur needs to get out right now. He doesn't know this exactly right now. Yep, there he goes. He sensed it. So Spidey senses tinkling. Oh boy, and yeah, he'll be fine for the moment.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Well, looks like EG got to come up without a whole lot to show for that and just farm the jungle a bit. Fnatic pulling all the way back as far as they needed to feel nice and cozy and safe. Taking a look at Hani. Yep, he's looking good. Plate mill, ulti orb. Mech up on fly. And No-Tail's kind of been struggling a bit. Does he have something on the courier?
He just bought a 4-staff. I was actually really curious about what Hani's doing, too. He had the plate mail, and he had 4,000 gold. I was like, is he going to go for AC, or is he going to go for Shivas? Then he bought an ulti orb. Maybe he's thinking they really need lockdown. Like, if they lock down Void, and they lock down Arteezy, they win. Like, if those two heroes are out of the picture, Panda's just been such a non-factor. You don't even have to worry about him at this point, I don't think.
Yeah. A little bit of a hybrid approach out of him. The armor does help a bit.
It's a very valued item, actually, just by itself. Like a casual plate mail. It's not bad.
Well, especially on a Doom, who's going to want to Shiva at some point. Like there, or in a Assault Cuirass, whatever your poison happens to be. EG smoked up again as Universe, Mason, and PPD. They're going to move into the jungle. Fnatic right now is one step ahead, though. And there's no one home. Like, no one in the entire quarter of the map that EG has in range. And at best, they can take a shot at the Tier 1 top, which is still standing. And it doesn't look like Fnatic was even that interested in trying to defend it anyway. So Roche will be responding at 60 seconds now.
Yeah, they should just even send a courier there, or just put one Meepo there, scout it out, and kill it. Do they have a Vlad's? I know it's common for Meepos to get floods. I'm not the biggest Meepo player. I'm not sure if I've seen Excalibur do it this early. Okay, he doesn't?
No, well, there's no flats right now. I don't know about his overall tendencies.
Right.
But, uh-oh. This could be problematic. Yeah, they're going to get a kill.
Oh, yep. See, this is the thing. You can't, blink in Meepos and help yourself out because you're just going to get stunned by time stop from the Chronosphere. So this is exactly why Void is so good. So unfortunate misstep there for Meepo. It'll cost him. Although one of the good things about him is he doesn't have the longest respawn timer ever, even though he's level 20. It's only 45, 50 seconds. So he'll be up relatively shortly in time to do Roshan, hopefully. But if I think right now the next item, BKB is finished on the Universe. He needs an Ags right now. I think Ags would just really seal the deal, just getting those ultimates off as fast as possible.
I agree. Yep, there's the Scythe of Ice done on the Doom. So, like you said, prioritizing lockdown. Another Hex at their disposal. And there'll be one at the disposal of Meepo before long. And, yeah, I actually thought Meepo was a lot closer than he was. That's why I said another Hex. I thought he was very close to the point that it'll be done immediately. But it is going to be a smidge of a little bit of a ways off. Unless he's got something on the courier I haven't spotted. Nope. So, still needs a little bit more time on it. But this is a big opportunity for EG. They have the tools, as you had mentioned, and Arteezy's just getting bigger and bigger, by the way. He's picked up another Mystic Staff.
Yeah, for the Shivas.
Yep.
Shivas is really good for them, too. So that'll be good for him. I feel like, and I'm not sure if Fnatic is a cheeky team to do this. So AA ulti coming. It will spot out a Roshan. Can they respawn in time? Void's ult is going to be up in 19 seconds. They should definitely walk over here and do this. Actually, Arteezy could just walk in and ult, and it would kill him.
Yep, and they need to make up their mind.
Okay, they're in. They're doing it. And EG's really good about once Roshan falls, they usually never fight. They usually just back off and okay, just reassess the situation. It's stupid to fight into a team that has an Aegis now, so.
Yep.
But yeah, I was going to say one thing about someone, and I forgot, but yeah, Void, if he gets an Ags, that'll be really good for him. He's almost level 16 as well. Oh yeah, I was going to say, if they're a cheeky team, it would be actually a good game to just write down those timers of cooldowns for Void ult. So level 16 without Ags, 80 seconds. I would timestamp that every single time he's ulting, so you know exactly when it's up. So EE-sama that shit, and give yourself some very valuable information.
You can see a smoke out of Fnatic. They actually circled it. It was Hani that circled exactly where 4 members. He literally drew a circle around 4 members of EG. And it looks like they want to try to make something happen here. EG, are they going to take the bait? There's Zion PPD up in lane. Trixie getting into a defensive position. Universe does have Chronosphere at the ready. And looks like they're going to go ahead and pull back. There's an arrow shot that'll miss on fly. And yeah, AG, I think, like you said, showing one of their better qualities as a team, patience. Backing off, reassessing, and realizing that trying to make something happen right here, probably a little too high risk.
There's no point to fight into a Meepo with an Aegis.
Right.
And when you don't have Vision of Doom, actually they do have kind of a nice ward up here. I like this ward a lot. Because normally the pub board, so to speak, is right where Fnatics are, but they put it down a little bit, I believe. No, it doesn't. I don't think it blocks the camp, but nonetheless, it's a good ward. It's not going to get spotted out right now, and it gives them some useful information.
Yep, you can see the sentry from Fnatic. It is just out of range.
Oh yeah,
when you put it right there, just out of range. And this is by far the most common area to be putting a sentry in your own jungle if you're dire side. So, little next level warding. Tuck that away in your back pocket. Use it in your next pub. Tell everyone to get good. Get on your level. But EG, like you said, is just kind of dodging right now and being very effective at it. My God, look at the sentry wards that are out, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4, 5,
5.
6.
Yeah, 5. And I don't know if I caught this one or not, but 5 or 6 are out on the map right now. And
with this Aegis, because they're the ones that can fight. As long as they're close to each other, they want to fight. EG, they want to just farm as much as they can and dodge a fight against the Aegis on Meepo. So, not to mention just Doom, who has a sheep stick now, which is very, very good. If they're able to coordinate their sheep and their Doom, well, I guess it's just him doing it himself. But they also have a second sheep on Meepo. But yeah, like I said, just keeping Void down, maybe hexing out Arteezy at the same time.
Oh, are they going to commit to this? Nope, there we go. Stampede Juicer's going to be the stomp. And the Mystic Flare Universe brought down immediately. They got to run. PPD hit with the Earthbind. Excalibur's taking a decent amount of damage. They will get the Aegis, but they got Universe through all of it. Mason using Split, now trying to catch up with someone. He's going to be reassembling soon, so yeah, he's already got the Earth Spirit back to a safe range. And that's just such a big pick. If they're able to get Universe like that, there's no way, Aegis or not, it's so hard for them to fight. And it was like, I heard it and was watching it. I didn't think they were going to go for it. It's whenever you hit a long-range arrow with Mirana, you'll hear bullseye. And I actually heard it and didn't see the arrow connect. And all of EG hold that thought aside.
That was a really dumb decision for him to do that. That was really cocky. He was thinking, even if I get silence, I can force staff away. But no, there's a nice fast sheep from Excalibur. And I'm pretty sure they know nice AOP, it'll hurt him just a little bit, but it won't stop this push.
No.
I think they knew that Void didn't have buyout, because if he did, he would have bought out immediately.
Oh, definitely.
And he didn't have it. He bought the Mjolnir recipe. I feel like he has more gold than that. Maybe he just hasn't been farming at all. But yeah, so he wants the Mjolnir, I guess. I really feel like Ags would have been better in this instance, but I guess Mjolnir's okay.
He's actually had that recipe forever. He's had that for a long time sitting back in his bank.
He must just not be farming at all. Ags coming out here for the Brew. Good for him, but again, I felt no presence from Brewmaster this game.
Yeah,
hasn't been Mason's best game, to be honest. Aegis is still up on. Nope, it's actually expended, right? Yeah, he doesn't have it anymore.
But anyway, while we have a minute of downtime, Excalibur had a Meepo was sitting right about here, and he got hit with an arrow. It had to be from a decent distance because his thumb was long, and I thought there's some scaling to when she says bullseye. But I heard it in flash there, and EG just like walked up to the edge here like this. And just kind of like waited, and Zai kind of very hesitantly walked down and started to auto-attack, and that was all they needed. And they initiated off of that with the Stampede. And I honestly didn't think EG was going to do anything because it was such a risky situation to be in.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Fnatic taking a big fight there and taking 2 towers off of it, and now critical mass just about achieved. 10K gold, not far away. They're at 7,500 in their favor. The experience, by the way, is up to 5 digits already. And not even up to 5 digits, up to a high 5 digits. About 15,000 experience now on the back of Meepo. And the mobility items are just coming so quick. There's now a Blink Dagger up on the Skywrath Mage to go along with his Force Staff. So he's going to be so hard to track down, but more importantly, he's going to have so many opportunities to get off good Mystic Flares now.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't even have 800 HP, so he's just banking on being very slippery. I mean, he does have very high movement speed. I've talked about that before. So, yeah, I think that's fine. It's a fine item. I don't think anything else he's going to buy is really going to make that much of a difference. Like, he could maybe get Yules, but that's kind of expensive. I mean, Yules is actually a really, really good item on him. But Blink is fine as well. I think BKB really needs to come out on Arteezy now. He's got the Shivas, but if he gets Blink sheeped, I mean, I guess it's not that great against Doom, but I feel like if you're Doom, you're dooming Void every time. Like, that, no questions asked. It needs to be the Void. So I feel like even if you are getting doomed, I still feel like you need BKB onto the OD. He's going for a little bit more greedy. He wants the intelligence. Is there a fight happening or something?
Oh, Zai. There's smoke. I didn't see it take place. Fnatic moved in. It looked like they were actually going to cut across, and they had a chance to catch 1, if not 2 members of EG. And instead, hesitating a bit. And because of that hesitation, unable to catch Zai or anyone else. So, not successful there. Roche will be back up before long. Zai's picked up a Blade of Alacrity. You think that's on the way to a Diffusal so he can purge off the Hex?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think Yash is going to do anything for him.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's like, I can't imagine why he would transition in like a semi-carry, but situation like that, I just always want to ask the more experienced player.
I mean, he could go for like a Manta to try to get out of like silences.
Yeah.
But that would be a long ways away. And I don't think he wants to invest his time and gold into something that expensive for a support Mirana that's just not farming. So yeah, I would guess Diffusal.
EG smoked up, moving through top lane. There's a Scotty now done. And they're going to go ahead and use Moonlight Shadow. They have a target that is close by. It's Excalibur. He's actually got a bunch of his Meepos tucked up under the tier 2.
I'm actually really surprised he's not saving for buyout, actually, on Excalibur. I mean, I guess he's feeling very confident that he's tanky enough to, just... It's really not even him being so tanky. Like, he could have, like, 5k HP. It's just a matter of getting caught by the ult.
He just used his Chrono on illusion and his BKB.
Which hero was it that was the illusion?
I didn't even see, honestly. I didn't get there in time.
Oh, shit. Oh, that is so massive. And the BKB on top of it.
It was a Meepo. Here's the other illusion down here. I was thinking there would have been a pair, so it was definitely a Meepo.
Oh, no. And the thing is you'd think that it's just like miss microwave because the illusion Meepo, you already see so many of them throughout the game.
Yep.
Oh, no. That's so big.
Oh, Courier. Honey has a Blink Dagger. Not going to be able to catch it.
That's very deep if they went in. But
yep.
Okay, if they're able to stall for the next 45 seconds, it won't be that bad. They might just lose a top tower out of it, which is not the end of the world.
They also used a long duration BKB there. That was his 10-second BKB used as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a big one too. But yeah, without Chronosphere, I don't see EG fighting really at all.
Yeah.
But again, Arteezy, going back to him, I think he still needs this BKB. He's saving for buyout, though, which is the smart decision. There's no reason to buy components when it's going to hinder your buyback gold. So he's saving up for that. He needs to be like, he needs to just buy out the BKB in full. Like, yeah.
EG played so aggressive and played so effectively early with good movement, and now really feeling like they're completely defensive. Just sitting behind their gloves and hoping they can absorb the damage until the round ends. And yes, that was a lot of boxing metaphors at once. We don't know boxing, sorry. I'm old school, before MMA was a thing. And my generation knows what boxing was. But seriously, I can't even believe people still box. Like I see boxing on television, I'm just amazed. Like I thought for sure.
Oh, MMA is just the thing, right?
Oh no, it's better. It just is. Period. But anyway, that's a divergence, and things are just a little quiet at the moment. Roche back up in 90 seconds. Another Aegis for Meepo would be devastating. EG moving together as a group again. They've got, yep, there we go, Moonlight Shadow. And let's see if they're going to have a chance to catch anyone. Closest targets over at the Ancients, that's No Tail. Arrow scouts the Roche pit. No dice.
It's almost like they saw them do that, but they didn't. Like they're just scared because no one's on the map showing from EG, and the ward placement here for Fnatic is always all on the left side.
Now that you mentioned, I think. Because Arteezy...
Oh, you know what? I'm dumb. I'm looking at the wrong wards. I was thinking those red wards were EGs for some reason.
Arteezy was farming, and I think he cut this way.
Yeah, you're right. I'm stupid.
I think they saw it, so...
My mistake.
It's almost like they saw it.
Yeah, that's what I was like, wow, they are very smart. Yeah, no, I for some reason I thought that just those red wards were Radiant. But anyway, they'll dodge a bullet right there. Fnatic, Big Daddy No Tail here. Oh, he dodges another bullet with the arrow. It was almost like he just happened to do that at the right time. But this Aegis, or the Roshan, will spawn soon. And yeah, like you mentioned, that would be devastating. Also, on top of that, I think Excalibur has enough for buyback as well. So
not quite. He's very close, about 500 gold.
Okay, so that'll be really good for him.
Double damage rune just hanging out in the river. We'll see if anyone's going to spot it. Might be Universe. And yeah, both teams just kind of easing into the later phases of this game. We're just about at 40 minutes in. Boots of Travel done on Hani, and Roshan up in 3, 2, 1. Hello. Spotted immediately by both teams as the Ice Blast spots it for EG. But Excalibur is going to be able to bring him down quick. If EG wants to stop this, they got to go right now.
Look at the damage. It's too late.
Yeah, it is.
And this is dire advantage. You almost wonder, okay, it goes back to him deferring the first pick and all that jazz, because I know that he really, arrow off the mark. They can't go in this. This will be devastating if they go in. Yeah, they can't go in. So they're just going to have to wait for high ground. Again, they're just going to have to
That was
turtle out
too, by the way.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really, really bad for EG. But they're going to have to wait for base defense on the tier 3s. And there's the BKB for Arteezy. I actually wonder why he bought it now and didn't just wait until they actually push. But it doesn't matter. Because now if he gets caught, it would be terrible. But nonetheless, he's got a BKB. Very, very good for him. He needs to sell like this Midas or something because he has no room.
Right now, you look at the KD, and largely it's been Universe having the biggest direct impact. 10 kills, 3 assists. He's been involved in 13. 12 kills involved in for PPD, so they've been difference makers for EG. Pretty close kill score, but you look at Arteezy, 0-1 and 4. He has largely been doing his own thing this game. And they need a lot out of him. He has to really be a force to be reckoned with, and he's actually going to be hexed. There's the Doom as well. So Doom on the Universe, they're going to be able to bring him down. No, never mind. They doomed Arteezy, not the Void. I thought when I didn't see the Chronosphere go off that it was a Doom on the Void, but behind that, we can see the Brute eating a lot of damage. And yep, he's going to end up going down most likely. Yep. So Mason getting a little too far ahead of himself. And he bought time for the rest of his team to retreat, but ends up dying himself, so they end up going 1 for 1. However, Hani did buy back there.
Yeah, I don't think that was worth it for Fnatic.
No, not at all.
I think what Hani was honestly trying to do is, I'm going to blink in, Doom, and then they use all their stuff on me. Like, I think he was trying to bait out the Void ult, but Universe is too smart for that.
Yeah, if
he baited that out and then buys back, then like they can either just run down whatever lane they want and push, or if EG sticks around, they'll just wipe him in a team fight. Here we go.
Oh, there's going to be a Hex. Excalibur coming in. There's going to be the Void ult actually onto Trixie this time. Excalibur
not good of an ult.
Missed by it. And Arteezy eating so much damage, has to use the ulti. The Aegis is gone. He's going to hang on to it. Now uses it on Trixie. Trixie finally does end up dropping Meepo back up. And Arteezy likely the target. He's going to Astral Imprison himself. Mason doesn't have split because he used it earlier. PPD doing what he can. And Arteezy's going to end up dropping. That Chain Frost just doing absolute work. But Excalibur, one last auto attack, brings him down from side. It's a 4 for 3 favoring EG. They also got the Aegis that time. Hani remains standing. Arrow off the mark. And Universe opting not to use the Chronosphere on the Meepo and influencing the outcome of that fight. How did you feel about it, him using it on Trixie?
Not a good ult target at all.
Yeah, I was wondering too. I was thinking maybe I'm just not smart enough or good enough to know why.
And, yeah, the only problem, that fight would have been completely different if the Doom was up for Doom. Like, he used it up top. He bought back. It was still off cooldown. As you can see, it's still off cooldown right now.
Same with Split for Panda, though. That was down as well.
Yeah, well, he bought back and then died, so it was a dieback, basically,
Yep.
for him. But again, his effectiveness is just not really being felt in these team fights, especially as we approach the late game. Hani dropped his Tranquils, which are still behind the tier 2, just sitting on the ground. Feels that the gem is more important. I got to agree with him. But it is kind of upsetting that he just can't sell that right now. And it's actually kind of funny that no one's picked it up right now. But Diffusal is up for Zai. There's a Manta style for Meepo, as he will respawn in a little bit. So yeah, he's going to be doing a lot more damage now, and he can get out of stuns and, or not stuns, sorry, as the Tranquils were killed right there. By Zai. I always like to just pick him up as a trophy, like a personal trophy.
Take it back home, mount him, stick him up on the wall. Like, yeah, found these once.
But, I mean, I keep wanting to say Allison, damn it. But Arteezy, his ult is still doing a ton of damage. It really is. So as long as we get a better Void ult, that was an uncharacteristically not so good ult from Universe, I will say.
Just had a great, no, I won't say a great idea, but
I think he was trying to zone, like he was trying to catch him and zone people out.
Yeah.
Like that was his intention, but it just didn't work out.
I was going to say I just had a one of those flashes. I can just imagine Dota 2 hoarders. You have a bunch of items you find on the ground sitting back at the fountain. Got a hero back there crying, saying, I don't know how it got this way.
Oh, here's an ult, or a Moonlight Shadow here for EG. They haven't really been able to be so successful in these Moonlight Shadows. That one wasn't even spotted, but they're using it so far back. Like, I understand you don't want to be spotted as you walk up free place, but they use it like so freaking far away that it just takes too long to run up and find someone.
Well, Fnatic's instincts are great, too. Like you said, even when they don't see it, they just look around.
There's no one on the map right now, so where the hell else would they be?
Exactly.
It's a little bit obvious.
I like that Excalibur's keeping the extra Meepos just kicking it, by the way, just for poof. They just keeps him hidden over here in the woods.
Yeah.
And keeps him safe. So, just less targets to have to worry about, less things to have to micro. And now he'll bring them out. But, yeah, just going to send him on down to farm, I guess.
He is 6-slotted. Like, he's completely 6-slotted at this point.
Yep.
He can maybe sell his treads for bots if he wants to, which is actually really good on Meepo because they all get the bots. Which is so much mobility if you can think about it. With a player of that high APM and micro, can be very effective. But he'll want to save for buyback. That will be very, very important for him. If he can get a buyback, I think that they can just run in a fight and win it. Let's check out the buyback status for Doom. It should be up relatively soon. Yeah, a minute 30.
No one has buyback right now.
Yeah.
Zai's going to have it in like 10 seconds from just passive gold. Well, no, actually he won't, because then when he dies, he'll lose gold. So no buybacks on the board whatsoever. Tier 2 under assault. Hard to believe that we're at 45 minutes and there are 5 Tier 2 still standing. That just shows how much of a chess match this has been, with neither team wanting to overcommit and neither team really getting a true upper hand. I mean, Fnatic is ahead in gold, but the experience has actually been cut down considerably. And this is one of the things that, is something you have to consider with Meepo. He 6 slots very quickly, but then, if you're not steamrolling at that point, the other team's only going to catch up. And we're beginning to see that come into effect. The gold flatlined in terms of Fnatic's ability to gain lead there. It's actually slightly coming up in favor of EG, and the experience has actually been cut down to about a quarter of the highest it was at any point in this game. So EG has managed this pretty damn well.
Yeah, there are going to be some big items coming up, like you're going to have Heart here soon for Centaur. He's also got a cheese on top of that. And the Assault Caress should be coming out here pretty soon for Hani, but he does want to save for buyout to keep things safe. And right now, I think it's just a matter of dire advantage. Like, Fnatic's just going to take every advantage they can, wait for Roshan yet again, and just don't take any risks.
I think Arteezy needs a refresher desperately.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just the go-to for him.
Desperately.
It's perfect.
There's going to be another smoke out of Fnatic. Moonlight Shadow is going to be used. Arteezy way out front by himself. Here we go, Stampede. Are they going to go on? Who are they looking for? It's PPD that's right next to him, and yep, they're going to spot him. PPD going to end up dropping. Here comes the fight behind that, though, and actually we see Trixie going to work on Zai. Behind that, PPD will be tracked down. Just heard a Chronosphere that's on the fly. Got Excalibur with it as well. There's Mason to follow it up, and they're going to split. Can they isolate him down? They can. He ends up taking the big biff, and now they're on the charge. They caught Trixie as well, tossing him up with the Storm aspect. Not quick enough with the follow-up stone or anything else to put his blink on cooldown, but they got the stone nonetheless. And No-Tail can't stand to fight. There's the OD ult. She's used immediately by Trixie. Using that Shivas to try to get away. They're going to maybe get 4. There's a no! Time locked in the middle of the stomp animation. Only one still standing is Hani, just to the south. So what looked to be a huge opportunity for Fnatic. The counter initiation out of EG is on point, and buyback status is up, but only on 1. And guess what? He's already alive. No one down can buy back right now for Fnatic. This should be Rax.
It should be. I wasn't watching. I was watching No-Tail in the backfields, but why did Hani wait so long to Doom? It must have been just a faster initiation from the universe. It must have been. I didn't see it. Maybe you were watching it, but he had to have initiated first because this Doom was just held onto forever. He watched his members die before he was able to find an opening with it. So very, very nicely played by EG. And if anything, it was like some space created from Peter in the background because that's where a lot of focus was for the Skywrath. And Doom just wasn't ready. Like, again, I didn't really exactly see his movement, but he needed to use that Doom. Again, the fights where he uses Doom on Void, I feel like they win every single time.
Oh, yeah. No, we've seen that. Whenever and it's the same thing with Void. When Void is able to catch a Meepo, and he didn't even target fire Meepo immediately in that Chronosphere. He knew the positioning of his team was such and the fight was going well enough, he could take down that first target and then move on to a second target. He's now up to a Daedalus. So his damage output, especially with that Mask of Madness, is absolutely absurd. And the refresher basically is Arteezy's as soon as he wants it. Did he buy? No, he actually went Lincoln, so going defensive.
Okay, it's to stop like a Blink Sheep thing.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's fine. I would have liked refresher too, but wants to be a little bit more on the defensive, I suppose. But yeah, that'll be good for him.
And EG, look at that goal graph. Down into the biggest lead of the game, and now right back up to a negligible 1,800-ish.
Oh, look at the experience. Oh, my God.
Holy crap. That is insane. And this is what we were talking about. There's another smoke out of EG, revealed as the Shivas is deployed. It's not actually a smoke. It's a Moonlight Shadow. PPD going to drop a ward up on the high ground. That is spotted immediately. The sentry's right there. They just need to get into range of it. And yeah, as of right now, they actually don't know it's there because they have no one to see it. And sentries don't grant range on their own. And yeah, No-Tail will find it here. There you go. Moving on down, dewarding that. EG,
sorry.
Go ahead.
It's of paramount importance now that Excalibur keeps buyback gold. I mean, he has nothing else to buy anyway, except, like I said, the bots. But if he had buyback, I think that they could have easily just turned that back around and baited out the ultimate like they did. He buys back, and then they go and fight. But EG's really good about just backing off.
Yeah.
Like, I bet if he actually bought back, they'd just be back. Don't fight. No reason to do it. We can just wait for the Chronosphere next time. He won't have buyback in the future. Do it again, and then we win the game. So.
All right, here we go. EG rushing into the Roche pit. Let's see. Fnatic's in a position to come from the high ground if they want to.
They got to go fast. This is dying so fast.
I don't think they know this is going on. They don't. It's going to drop and go to EG. Excalibur's going to go in and get off the net, but it's too little too late. There's going to be the Mystic Flare, but there's the Void ulting, and Arteezy dropping the hammer as well. They came in just a little too late. Immediate buyback from Excalibur. And that's just unfortunate. They moved in. They got the Earthbind off. And they got the Mystic Flare and a lot of damaging abilities off, but all of those BKBs, as soon as they saw that Excalibur spotted it and came in to engage, everyone BKB'd at once, so none of it did anything to anyone. They get the Aegis, they're going to take mid-racks, and very high probability they may take this game.
That's the difference between like EG and like a team like Fnatic. EG's very smart about knowing when they can and cannot go into Roshan. There's an ultimate there finally on Doom onto Universe. But it's just, yeah, it's not going to feel its effectiveness here.
Yep.
They back off immediately. Zai throws out a zoning arrow here. It does hit Hani in the backfield, but they don't have Chrono. They're going to take it safe. And I don't see why not.
Well, and that Doom, I mean, that's a situation where I don't know that they had the Doom universe, because Doom, as you can see, is already worn off, and he's still 20 seconds from Chrono. But regardless, they keep the rack standing. I thought for sure they're actually going to take that. But EG, like you said, playing very, very patiently and not willing to commit to a fight in that instance. They had plenty, and they had an Aegis. Would have assumed they would Aegis onto Arteezy.
Oh, what did he sell then? I forget.
Midas.
A Force Staff.
Oh yeah,
no,
you're right. Okay. Yeah, he sold the Midas earlier.
Yeah, so
Excalibur caught with another Chronosphere, and there's nothing Excalibur can do about it. Throws off the Earthbind. Nope, doesn't matter. Ice Blast from PPD was there. There's a Mystic Flare that does a bit of damage, but little wishful thinking on that, and they're going to get him regardless. Now here comes Haunting. Haunting has Refresher, and he will go ahead and use it. He dooms Arteezy, but it doesn't matter.
That's game. Meepo has no buyback. Doom already used Refresher. He already used Doom, even if he had buyback, which he doesn't.
GG.
Yeah, GG. Well played, very well played. And the
Look at this. And it just crossed back into 0 in favor of EG again by the end. The experience shot up like a rocket. And by the end, as big as of an experience lead as Fnatic had, EG by the end had exceeded it. And that was such an that's one of those games that just makes you feel exhausted afterwards. Both teams in the driver's seat in different times. You saw EG come out firing absolutely on every cylinder, taking over the early laning phase, dominating the early game as a whole, and looking like they were going to arc so well into the mid game. Then Fnatic had Excalibur kick in on the Meepo. They were in control for a while. EG just played passively, had the dodge, had to rat where they could, but even that wasn't working. But they bought just enough time, got Arteezy online as long as it took, and by the time his inventory filled up, there just wasn't a whole lot they can do. What a hell of a way to start this best of 3 with a spot in the grand finals on the line.
Yeah, just they know how to play in the late game, EG does. So that's really one of their biggest. Okay, it's funny because they have 2 big strengths. One is early game pressure. The other one is late game security. In mid game, we saw things kind of falter and fall apart, but they got the early game down with the nice smokes and aggression up on the top to jumpstart their farm. And then late game, they just knew that they couldn't fight for a long time. But they also knew that they had very, very strong late game with the big ults from Void and OD. And even though it took a long time for OD, I mean, Arteezy was doing basically nothing for a good 30 minutes. He knew that if we can just hold high ground for a little bit longer, my ult's going to start to happen. It was right when he got that sheep stick, actually. Where I saw the ult and I was like, okay, now Meepo's got to be careful about these ults, because before it was just the faceless Void ult, but now OD's ult's starting to come into play.
And that really was the difference. And, EG, for the longest time, they felt like they were 4 on 5, and they lost ground. But again, that's the thing with Meepo, is as amazing as he is at all phases of the game, once he caps out, you got to remember, he is taking away from his teammates in most cases when he's soaking that gold in that experience. It's not as if he just happens to do it the way a traditional carry would. So when he caps out, you have to make sure that you're hitting that timing window. And EG just able to wait it out and notch a Game 1 win just south of 52 minutes in. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. This is the HyperX D2L Western Challenge Playoffs. We're live from the HyperX offices here in Fountain Valley. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. This is our second best of 3 of the day. It's our upper bracket grand finals. The winner will move on to the grand finals to be played on Tuesday. Of course, over the next day after this, on Monday, we'll finish out the lower bracket. And we've already had 2 teams knocked out. Cloud9 brought down and then knocked out, but yeah, that's basically how it went. Brought down by Rock's Kiss, knocked out by Empire, and EG just looking so strong. And I'll tell you what, man, this is exactly what I think we expected. Both of these teams have looked so sharp lately.
Yeah, and I mean, Excalibur farmed ridiculously well on Meepo. I still think he had a great game, but just look at the heroes he had to play against. Very, very good Meepo counters, honestly. And that's one of the things. It's finally cool to see a team actually capitalize on picking something against Meepo, because all the time we've seen, they just come right out of the gate, Doom Meepo were the first 2 picks. You're like, you really pick Meepo this early? But it seemed to work for them every other series. But this time, they're like, okay, well, we're going to second pick Void. And then we're going to pick an OD. And you saw their first 4 picks were like all cores. It was everything but the AA. And you're like, well, this is kind of greedy, but they have really good ults against.
Well, they knew they could be.
Yeah, exactly. So they just finally actually did something against these early Meepo picks that Fnatic has been able to get away with as of late.
Alrighty, guys. Fnatic going to look to push this to 3. EG wants to slam the door shut and secure their place in the grand finals. Again, I'm AC. That's Tralf. Follow us on Twitter at AC, at AYESEE, and at TralfDota, TRALFDOTA. Game 2 of this upper bracket final coming up next here at the HyperX D2L Western Challenge playoffs. There we go. Upper bracket. Yeah. Too many finals, too many words, too many things. Just stick with us. Hopefully I'll find my tongue and my sense whenever we're back here in just a minute. We'll be right back.